Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into a really neat idea from software design called the observer pattern. Have you ever wished you could get an instant notification, a heads up about the absolute best travel deals out there?
Oh, definitely. Who hasn't?
Right. Well, this pattern, the observer, it's sort of the magic behind how that kind of instant update can happen in software systems.
Exactly. We're looking at our source material here, and it really boils down to this core idea of setting up a one-to-many relationship.
One-to-many. So one thing changes.
And automatically, a whole bunch of other interested things, they just get the news instantly.
Okay, makes sense. So why is this pattern actually needed? What problem is it solving?
Well, the source material gives a pretty good example. Think about a travel agency, right? They've got new offers, maybe great vacation packages, and they want to tell their loyal customers, their best clients.
Right, you want to keep them in the loop.
Exactly. But without a good system, they'd have to, manually contact every single person every time a new deal pops up? Imagine the work.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a nightmare. Inefficient.
Totally. So the observer pattern streamlines all of that.
How does it do that? What are the moving parts here?
Okay, so there are a few key components. First up, you have the observer. Think of it like a blueprint, an interface or abstract class.
The template for anything that wants to listen.
Precisely. It defines what it means to be a listener. Our document calls this observator. It's the concept.
Got it. Observator. The blueprint. Then what?
Then you have the concrete observer. These are the actual things listening, the real objects.
So in the travel example, these would be the actual loyal customers, the client fidel mentioned in the source.
Exactly right. Your client fidel instances, they are the concrete listeners waiting for those juicy travel deals.
Okay, listeners covered. Who's making the announcement then?
That's the subject. Or sometimes called the observable. This is, again, kind of the blueprint, but for the thing being watched.
So it defines how to, keep track of all the listeners.
Yeah, how to manage a list of observers, and crucially, how to notify them when its own state changes. The source calls this observable.
Observable. The thing being watched.
Yeah.
And the real version.
Is the concrete subject or concrete observable. This is the specific object that actually holds the list of observers and triggers the notifications.
So in our example, that's the travel agency itself. The agenty.
That's the one. The agenty is the concrete subject. It maintains the list of client fidel observers.
Okay, I think I've got the players. So walk me through it. The agenty gets a new deal.
Right. Its state changes. Maybe a new cruise package is added.
Mm-hmm.
So the agenty then goes through its list of registered client fidel observers.
The list it's maintaining.
Yep. And for each one, it calls a specific function, like an update method, basically saying, hey, something new happened.
It's almost like the agency has a digital mailing list. And when there's news, it just hits send to everyone on that list.
That's a great analogy. And the really powerful thing here is the decoupling.
Decoupling, meaning they aren't tightly connected.
Exactly. The agency doesn't need to know the messy details about how each client fidel wants to receive the news or what they do with it. It just knows it has a list and a notification to send.
So it makes the system more flexible. You could add new types of customers or change how they get notified without messing up the agency part.
Precisely. It avoids that brittleness where one change breaks everything else. Much easier to maintain and evolve.
And this isn't just theoretical, is it? I think the source mentioned a common real-world application.
Yeah, it points to the Model View Controller Architecture, MVC. Very common.
Right, MVC. You see that everywhere in web apps, mobile apps.
Absolutely. Think about, say, a spreadsheet application. The data is the model. What you see on screen is the view. When you change a cell value that's changing the model, the observer pattern helps ensure the view updates automatically to show that new value. The model just notifies its observers, including the view, without needing to know exactly how the view displays things.
That makes sense. It keeps the data separate from the presentation.
And just as a quick side note, the source also briefly touches on the singleton pattern.
Singleton, meaning there's only one instance of something.
Yeah, it just suggests that sometimes the subject, the thing being observed, like our agenty, might be designed as a singleton, just one unique travel agency instance in the whole system. It shows how these patterns can sometimes work together.
Interesting how these ideas connect. Okay, so wrapping this up then, the core takeaway from the observer pattern is?
It's really about enabling efficient, decoupled communication. One object changes, and many others are notified automatically without being rigidly tied together.
Nice and clean.
And for listeners, even if you're not coding, this idea of efficiently spreading information in interconnected systems is, well, it's fundamental. It's about managing dynamic relationships.
Right. It pops up everywhere once you start looking. So maybe a final thought to leave people with. Considering this one-to-many notification idea, where else, maybe outside of software, in daily life or other tech, do you see similar kinds of principles at play for keeping information flowing effectively?
That's a good one. Plenty to think about there.